What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to show you the all-new updated version of the City Robin bike from Euphree bikes. This is the City Robin X. Now I normally cover a lot of fat tire bikes on this channel, but today we're going to take a look at something different. A more comfortable, refined commuter style bike, and I'll cover all the specs and we'll talk about the updates from the previous version of this bike. I'll show you the performance of the bike, and at the end I'll tell you why you should be considering a bike like the Euphree City Robin X instead of a fat tire bike. So hang around and find out why. All right, we're checking out the City Robin X in midnight black. The other color options are pearl white, emerald green, and rebel blue. And this one's got more of a matte finish to it. The other ones are going to be a gloss finish. The previous version they sent me of the City Robin was the emerald green. Very glossy, sparkly paint job, absolutely beautiful. But the more I ride this matte black finish, the more I'm thinking this is the color to get. But hey, it's just great that they gave you some color choices. There is only one frame design for the bike. It only comes in a Step Thru. And when I checked the website this morning, current price was $2,099. Now I do want to point out that on this specific bike, there are 3 accessories that are aftermarket. They're not included with the purchase price. You would have to buy them from the Euphree website. Those 3 things are this rear basket that clicks onto the rear rack, the folding bike lock, and then also this phone holder here. And we'll talk more about the phone holder in just a moment. Now, as far as the updates that were made to this version of the bike, I'm going to list them out for you right now, and then we'll go through them a little bit more in depth as we walk through the bike. So this version got an updated headlight. It got an updated, well, it got a brake light. The old version didn't have a brake light, just a tail light. The wiring's been cleaned up around the handlebar stem. It has an integrated phone mount. It's got additional mounting points for bottles and locks. It's got a new display, new programming within the display, and it also has a different motor winding, which gives it a touch more torque. All right, now that you know what changes to look for, we can start walking through the bike a little bit and show you what you get for your money. So the wheel and tire package, it's 27.5 by 2.1 is the tire size. Quick release on the wheel. You can see the tread pattern here. Decent grip on there. It's a commuter style bike, so it's meant to be a firm, fast rolling tire. That's what this is. It says inflate 40 to 65 psi, so those are going to be nice and firm and fast rolling. For the brakes, you've got disc brakes, of course, 180 millimeter disc on there, and they are Tektro Hydraulic brakes. Awesome. I mean, no trouble at all with the braking power on this bike. They were great. The bike has an adjustable front suspension fork. You got preload on this side, lockout over here. It says Suntour on there. Great suspension, didn't have any trouble with that. The bike comes with metal fenders, front and back. The fenders and the rear rack are included. The rear rack is welded onto the bike. It's basically part of the frame, very heavy duty. I believe they say it can hold up to 100 pounds. That's a lot for a rear rack, so great cargo carrying capacity on this bike. You can see this bike has the optional basket that they sell on their website. Nice metal basket, has a handle built into it, so when you take the basket off, it's easy to carry around. And I can throw up a video of me popping this basket off and on the rack. It's pretty slick how it works. It's just a little mechanism on the underside of it, and it takes really 2 seconds to take it off and on the bike. Works really well. I really like the rear rack and the basket setup on this bike a lot. The only issue I've got with it is that whatever you put in here has a chance of falling out if it's small. I mean, put a water bottle in there or sunglasses or something, it's just gonna fall right out those holes. It'd be kind of cool if they could put a like a mesh, wire mesh on the outside of this, or maybe even sell aftermarket fabric liners that go in there to hold stuff in, because pretty much whatever you put in this basket is gonna have to be in its own other bag or container to keep it from falling out. And they do have an option here on the front too. There's mounting hardware for front baskets as well. So you could rig this thing up to be a nice little commuter cargo bike and carry a lot of stuff with you. But let's jump back up to the front here and take a look at the headlight. This is one of the updates they made on this version, which is a much cooler looking headlight, and it also functions a lot better. And it went from being mounted on top of the fork to being mounted up here on the handlebars. It produces a really good beam pattern. It shoots this big spotlight out in front of you, and then it also illuminates the ground right in front of the bike. And these little side windows here allow the light to be seen from the sides. So it kind of does everything it really needs to do. I was kind of impressed. It's not like fantastically, insanely bright, but it really shows you where you're going, shows you the ground in front of you, and allows you to be seen by other people. So very good headlight. Great update on this. Now, another update they did on this version is they cleaned up all this wiring up here at the front. So they've got it wrapped all nice and neat. Everything's tied together very nicely, and it goes into the handlebar stem right here and then into the frame, and you don't ever see it again. The other version, it went into the side of the frame right here and there was some wires dangling. This is a much cleaner look on this bike. And it's still an adjustable handlebar stem, just like the old version. You know, you got a lot of adjustment here to get the ride comfort that you want. I think they probably picked this one because of this right here, where it allows the wires to go in the bike right there and be hidden. So good choice, I like it a lot. It really lets you kind of customize the ride position to your liking. Another thing adding to the comfort of this bike is this Sweptback handlebar design. So with the handlebars coming back to you like that, it gives you a more upright ride position, which I really like. I'm more comfortable like that. And then as you reach your hands out, with the bars angled like this, it's just a more comfortable ergonomic feeling. I guess I don't know how to describe it, but it's a very comfy ride position on this bike. I really like the handlebar setup. Over here you've got leather wrapped grips, you've got your integrated bell right there, and your shifting mechanism is a micro shift, and it works really well. I've never seen this on another bike at all. This is the only bike I know that uses it. And it works really well. It's smooth, it's quiet. It gives you, when you push these buttons right here with your thumb, it gives you this like distinct pop, like you know it's going into the gear, and it clicks in right away. It works really well. So they made a good choice with that. I kind of wish other bikes would use that as well. Now, another one of the updates they made to this bike was the phone mount that's integrated into the handlebar stem right here. So this piece right here doesn't come with the bike. It just clicks off and on very easily. And you go on their website and you buy the one of these that fits your cell phone, right? So they gave me kind of a universal one because I have a very old Android phone. A lot of the ones they sell are for iPhones. I don't have an iPhone. But you've got this little adapter right here in the stem, and then it matches up with that perfectly. You just push it on there and turn it, and your phone's locked into place. And let me put my phone in there so you can get an idea what this is going to look like. It's kind of cool looking actually, because it feels like it's almost part of the bike when your phone's in there. It's just kind of where it's meant to be, I guess. If you want to use your phone to navigate on the bike, great option. I mean, or if you just like having your phone in front of you. I usually just keep mine in my pocket, but for this bike, I do put it in this phone mount right here. It's very handy. So great addition to the bike. I think a lot of people will actually use that. On this side, you've got your thumb throttle right here and your new display screen. This is another one of the changes. The old display screen was right here in the center, and this one's much better. It's, I think, simpler. It gives you more handlebar space. It's color display. It's very easy to program, very easy to see. When they told me that they were going to put the screen offset to the side like this, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like that, but I really do like this one a lot better. Let me turn it on for you. I'll block out the sun here so we can see what we're doing. Hold the center button. All right, so there's your display. Very simple, easy to read color display. Gives you everything you need. Miles per hour, your battery life, trip meter, your pedal assist levels. There's 5 levels of pedal assist on this bike. And if you punch the center button there, it'll show you like your overall odometer and your ride time and just a couple other things. Now, the other update to this bike was a change made that you can make, the user can make in the settings. You can adjust your takeoff speed if you want a fast start or a slow start. The way you get into it is you double click the center button real quick. Here you can change, screen brightness and I don't know, a couple other things, wheel size, but you want to go into advanced settings to get to that setting I'm talking about. So you go into advanced, you got to put in the password. I believe it's 1801, I think. Let's put that in, 18, 0, and then 1. And we're in. Okay, so once you're into the advanced settings, you can do speed limit, current. Let's toggle through your number of pedal assist levels. I think 5 is the only option. You can only have 5 levels. Poles in the motor. On page 3, right here, start strength. Hopefully you can see that. You have your choice, 1, 2, or 3. So if you put it on start strength 1, it's going to take off very gradual. If you put it on 3, like I like it, it's going to take off nice and fast. So they've had feedback from their users that some people like it fast off the line, some people like it gradual. So fantastic idea. Give everybody the choice. You can set it yourself however you want it, fast or slow on the takeoff. Great addition to this bike. I love it. And another one of the updates or additions they made to the bike is right here. They give you an extra mounting spot right here for water bottles or folding locks like I've got right here. You've got a mount here and a mount here. The old version just had one of those. So they gave you an extra one so you can mount more things on the bike. Good addition there. Right here is where your battery's hiding. It's integrated into the frame. I love that design. I love it when the batteries are inside the frame here. It just makes it look so under the radar. This is a bike, you don't really look at it and immediately know that it's an electric bike. I like that about it. It's very quiet. The motor's quiet, the tires are quiet. You don't make a ton of electric noise going down the road. So when you're on the greenway, people don't really know you're riding an e-bike. And this battery, just you turn the key on the other side, turn this lever here, so it's kind of a safety lever so it doesn't just fall out. But when you release this, the battery will pop out the front here. It's a 48 volt, 14 amp hour battery pack. I did a range test on this on the previous version. I think it went, I want to say 27 miles without even pedaling it. So the bike has really good range. A lot of that's probably to do with the efficiency of these tires as opposed to the fat tires, which have a lot of rolling resistance to them. Now, one other thing I really like about the City Robin bike is it comes standard with this Suntour Suspension Seat Post. Really good seat post. Other bikes will come with a suspension post sometimes, but they're never this quality. They're usually the kind of up and down pogo stick ones that cost 30 bucks. This is like over 100 bucks, I think, for one of these. And it works really well, and it's really adjustable too. And I want to point that out because I had to adjust this. You just pull the seat out, and on the bottom of the post, you put an Allen wrench in there, and you can dial it up or down to whatever you want. When I got it, it was very, very, very squishy. And I noticed that my butt was hitting this rear rack when it was compressed the whole way. So I took it out of there and I increased and made it a little bit stiffer and, you know, probably the appropriate suspension for my weight. And I haven't hit this since. That worked. I never bumped into that again, and I still get enough squish in the seat post that it's plenty comfortable. For the gearing on the bike, you got a 42 tooth chain ring on the front, double-sided aluminum guard on there, so the chain should stay in place nicely. 1428 on the back. And then one of the other final updates they made to the bike was in the motor winding. It's a 500 watt Bafang motor. I believe it peaks around 900 watts. And they say they made some updates to the winding in there to give it a little bit more torque. I didn't feel any dramatic difference over the previous version, so I guess we'll take your word for it. It is a very zippy bike. I mean, on the level ground around town, this thing flies around like crazy. You can go 28 miles an hour on the throttle. It's a pretty zippy bike. But now let's take a look at some of the performance footage that I took on the City Robin. All right, I'm stopped just before my hill climb test. Hill's right up there. I'm gonna do this hill climb test a little different than I normally do. Most of the time I just put the bike on the hill, smash the throttle and see if it can make it up the hill. Throttle power only, time it, see how fast it goes. This bike, I'm gonna do it different though. I think this is gonna be a better example of what an electric bike can do for you. So what I'm gonna do is shut this bike off and I'm gonna start riding it, no power. Let's go over to the hill here. Now this bike really does feel just like a regular bike riding it on flat ground. Not difficult to pedal at all, really. And I'm coming up the hill, so I'm gonna start downshifting this bike. I'm gonna downshift all the way into I'm in first gear. It's getting harder to pedal. Now this is not even really that steep of a hill. No power, this is citizen power only. This is about I'd say 10 to 12% grade, I think, when I checked it. And it's tough right now. Okay, I might have to stand up and start pedaling. Because I'm not a cyclist. Let me stand up. So if you're riding a regular bike, this is how you're gonna get up the hill. Your lungs are gonna be on fire. If you're not an avid biker, your legs are gonna be burning, and you're gonna be going very slow up this hill. And I'm getting really out of breath trying to narrate. Whew. So, riding a regular bike, this is difficult. And I'm just gonna stop right here. In the middle of the hill. And that's the steepest spot right there. Let me turn this bike on. Okay. And I'm just gonna put it in, let's say, pedal assist 3, and I'm gonna just casually pedal. Look at that. I mean, that's how easy it is. That's how much easier it makes the hills. Almost no effort. I'm barely pushing on these pedals. I'm not even in the highest assist level. It just makes it so much easier. So can this bike tackle hills? Absolutely. No problem getting this thing up any hill I ask it to go up. All right, let's do a quick top speed run over here. After we make this turn, we'll hit the throttle, see what we can get it up to. All right, here we go. There you go. Goes up to 28 pretty easily. All right, super steep hill climb test. I got in pedal assist 5 and I'm in first gear. Very short, steep, grassy hill. And we're just gonna pedal up, see how it does. Straight up, ooh, popped a little wheelie at the end. Straight up, no problem. All right, so we took the suspension seat post out and just put in a regular seat because Mrs. Citizen is 5'3", so she needs the bike nice and short. And even with the suspension post out, still kind of tippy-toeing it. But rideable now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a nice smooth ride, especially on something like this, just a paved blacktop bike trail or greenway. Very smooth, very quiet. I'm just riding like a regular bike right now. I'm not even in pedal assist. But if I punch it up here, go to pedal assist 2, I'll run it through the gears, you can hear it. It shifts really clean. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7. Just every time you hit the thing with your thumb, just pops right into gear, no problems. Same with the downshift, let's go down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, I mean right down through, no problem. All right, now I told you at the beginning of the video that I really think a lot of people should be considering a bike like the City Robin instead of a fat tire bike. And here's why. So the first thing is you need to really ask yourself, do you need fat tires? Are you gonna be riding off-road through the woods, over roots and logs and stones? Are you gonna be riding through mud and sand and snow? If you are, okay, so fat tires are a good choice. If you're gonna be doing this, you're gonna be riding on the greenways at 10 miles an hour or around town or on the bike paths, you really don't need the fat tires. There's actually a lot of drawbacks to them. There is a lot more rolling resistance, so it's gonna chew through your battery quicker. And if you ever run out of battery, it's gonna be really hard to pedal those home. I've done it, I've run out of battery on range tests and had to pedal a fat bike home. They're not easy to pedal home. The noise level from those tires, you get anywhere from a hum to a roar going down the road on the fat tires. So they're way noisier, there's more rolling resistance, and there's more weight. I mean, you got a larger wheel, a larger tire, a larger tube, probably even thicker gauge spokes. So that's gonna add into the weight of the bike, which leads me into my next point, the weight. I did a video or two about the most common complaints I get through the comments about e-bikes. You know, what do people complain the most? Hands down, number one is the weight of the bike. Let me tell you some numbers here. The last couple fat tire bikes I got, they ranged from 80 to 95 pounds. 78, 88, 95, 92. They're all creeping up in weight. They keep getting heavier and heavier. The fat tire bikes are super heavy. This bike, as it rides right now, as I'm riding it, is 70 pounds with all the accessories on it. 70 pounds. If you take all the accessories, the basket, the phone holder, the bike lock, all that stuff off, it weighs 62 pounds. And if you take the battery out, it weighs 54 and a half. I'd much rather lift 54 pounds onto a bike rack than 95. So think about if you're gonna be lifting the bike, putting it in your truck, putting it on a bike rack, lifting it upstairs, whatever, the fat bikes are super heavy. That's number one complaint, they're so heavy. This is a lot lighter. And the last reason I'll say you need to consider a bike like this instead of a fat tire bike is because of the thought that went into it. And I'm gonna pull over and just kind of talk about this City Robin for a quick second so you can see what I mean. Because I'm gonna break it down in a couple different categories. But I've been on a lot of different e-bikes, 40 plus e-bikes. I've ridden a wide variety, but there's very few that have this much thought that went into the bike. And that's what Euphree does. They use their customer feedback to keep making small tweaks and updates to make the bike the best version it can be. So if you think about the comfort of this, you've got front and rear suspension with the suspension seat post. You've got the Sweptback handlebar design, complete with an adjustable handlebar stem, so you can really set it up to get your ride position that you want. You got a nice wide flat seat to sit on, so it makes it a comfortable ride, even right down to the pedals. Even the pedals are different. Every other bike I've gotten, it's either plastic or metal. These ones have rubber inserts in the pedals on the City Robin. So it makes it just even more comfortable on your foot riding this thing around. They thought about performance on this bike. They give you a great set of Tektro Hydraulic Brakes. They give you good power in the motor. It peaks at like 900 watts. So you've got decent power on the flats. You can go 28 miles an hour down the road, throttle only on this thing. Good hill climb power out of it. The shifting mechanism works great. The tires being fast rolling and smooth like that, they're very efficient, they're very quiet. And the screen programmability, allowing you to select how fast you want the takeoff to be. That's great. There's only a handful of bikes that offer you the ability to select your power levels and takeoff speed like that. So they thought about comfort, they thought about power. They also thought about the functionality of this bike. They give you mounting spots and they sell front and rear baskets so you can carry cargo with you. They give you a simple readable display, offset, doesn't take up any space on the handlebars. They gave you a phone mount integrated in there, and they sell mounts to put your exact phone in there. They give you a great working headlight that allows you to see and to be seen. They give you multiple mounting points for accessories. They give you a step-through frame design, so there's a lot of people that can ride this model of bike. And they made it lightweight, when weight is a major concern for folks. I really think Euphree is kind of accomplishing here what they set out to do. You know, they're trying to make the best version of an electric bicycle they can. This is a pretty good contender. And that's another thing I want to bring up too, that's the feeling when I ride this bike. I feel like I'm riding an electric bicycle. When I ride the fat tire bikes, they're great and I love them and they're fun, but I don't really feel like I'm riding a bicycle when I ride those. So if you want a bicycle ride feeling, something like this is a better option. But when I am at work and it's stressful and I want to go for a 20-minute bicycle ride at lunch to clear my head, this is the one I take out because it gives you that feeling. So think about, I guess, the feeling you want as you're riding around. You want a bicycle feeling or more of like a recreational off-road toy kind of feeling that the fat bikes give. All right, my friends, I think that is all the information I've got for you today on the City Robin X. If I missed something, certainly put your question in the comments. I will do my best to answer it if I can. And I hope you found this helpful. I will, of course, link this bike in the video description so you can find it easily and check it out. And it's just, as always, it's just a link. It's not tied to me. I don't get anything if you buy one. I'm just here to give you information. So I hope you found that helpful. If you did, if you like content like this, consider hitting subscribe and the notification bell. Check back for more bike reviews and check out the Euphree City Robin X. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching.